Uh, have you ever had a situation like maybe you're out in the taking a hike or something, and somebody says, "Hey, look out!" and then you turn around and there's a snake, or maybe it's where you're about to step on a turtle, whatever, whatever it is, something you're not looking for. You're oblivious to it because you're doing what you're doing. You're living life and not looking for something that might be of concern. Well, a lot of people in that are in that case, in that situation. In fact, most of us are most of the time, probably. Some of us are sometimes looking for some things, right? You ever notice how I know that every time I buy a new car, I never noticed that model of car before, but now everybody on the road's got the same car, right? It's just sometimes we are focused on certain things once they get into our head, but often we're not. We're just moving along, assuming that everything we're being told is true. We're just not concerned. People are taking care of us. Everything's fine. Well, I saw a video the other night, and I just had to make this video because I need to share this to you because you need to know it if you're not already aware of things. I'll use the allegory of a river. You're on a river. It's placid. Uh, I've tubed and canoed down rivers, and that are very placid, right? And then you come to a place where the there's a the elevation drops some, and so we have rapids in those situations, right? And this can be pretty turbulent. We've been in these rapids now for a while, and you know, for some of us, we don't realize we're in the rapids. Unfortunately, some of us are still. Maybe we're just in our own lives because of the way things work in our financial lives, etc. We're we're in that placid area before you see the rocks up ahead. You don't really know much about it, but we're in it. Many people are already in the middle of it. Uh, they know that we're in a rapids, but we're, I believe, about to hit a waterfall, and maybe a couple of waterfalls, and that's when there's a really severe change in elevation. Okay, there's a change in circumstances. Financially, this is where we are. If you have not gotten on board, if you don't have your life jacket on, if you're on an inner tube and you think you're in good shape, you're about to be severely surprised. I'm pretty sure about that. Um, as you hear me say, I don't listen. I take everything on mainstream media with a grain of salt, and then I study people who actually look at history and look at what's going on in the world today and see very clearly that we are just in another cycle of going through the same stuff that, there's nothing new under the sun. We go through it over and over and over again. And so that's where we are. So I'm here to implore you, you know, uh, it's time. If you are not already into cryptocurrency, you better get there quick. You may be one of many people who, my wife, she really, if you ask her where she wants to put her money, she'll almost always tell you, well, we need to put it into a savings account where it'll be good and safe. And yeah, we'll make 1% interest or 2% interest, but we'll be okay. More like 1% interest. But we don't want to lose any money. Uh, of course, she doesn't take into account that inflation. If you look at historically what's been going on with our wealth, uh, for 100 years. It's been going. It's just dissipating and it's inflating away. So you're making 1%, you're losing money. You're making 2%, you're probably losing money. You're making 4%, you may have sort of kept even for a bit at times, right? You better be making 10% or something like that if you're trying to stay up and ahead of things, right? Uh, you know, I think of the parable that Jesus talks about in the Bible, the uh, bad servant. Which was the bad servant? He's the one that took his money, took the master's money and stuck it into the ground because he didn't want to lose any of it. He wasn't dealing with reality. He was just hiding the money. So, if you've got $1,000 in savings right now, you need to. This is my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. You need to get it out of that and stick it into cryptocurrency right now. Maybe you've bought silver or gold. You better do that. If you're going to do that, you better do that right now. Those are possibilities. But because cryptocurrency is the future, I'm not. Yes, it's good to put your money. If you don't have hardly any money, get some silver quick. Silver just popped up the other day. We're back up to about 36 again. Those who look at the historical way that silver moves in the market expects it to go up, as well as gold. Things are going to get inflated away, so you need to avoid inflation, and silver and gold will help you avoid your wealth being disappeared by inflation. That's just the long and short of it. But you do need to get into cryptocurrency because this is the future. Whether you want to admit it, I don't like the idea. I hate the idea. I really, what was happening the other day, I can't remember what it was, but I thought, geez, if we only did this by paper and pencil, I wouldn't be having this issue. It was some electronic issue I was having. I hate electronics being in control of everything. And, but that's the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it. So I have to embrace the future, and that is cryptocurrency. And the important thing about it is you don't want to be looking for cryptocurrency that is just, there's a zillion altcoins. People just a few months ago bought Trump coins. They're nothing but, it's like, what are those little small stuffed animals? Can't remember. But anyway, several years ago, there was a craze, about 25 years ago now, there was a craze with everybody go out and buy these little animals, little stuffed animals, and they were paying all kind of money for them for a while, and then it just disappeared. But my point is, they weren't worth anything except what people emotionally were willing to pay for them. So that's the way it is with a lot of what are called altcoins. Okay, all of these electronic coins, you can go and buy all kinds of them. They're not worth anything more than what somebody is willing to pay for them, which of course, a land, if you're just investing in land with no idea about what it's worth, you're doing the same thing. So if you're saying, oh, I'm going to go buy a piece of property because property is a good thing to buy. Well, if you go buy a swamp, that's not a good investment, is it? You need to buy a piece of land that people can either grow food on, grow trees on, raise animals on, or put a house on, right? It's got to have utility. That's the key. And this is the key about the XRP and a few other cryptocurrencies. They have utility. Bitcoin itself has no real utility. Okay? It's the thing that's leading everything because people are trying to find a place to put their money where it's not going to disappear on them. And they see a future in Bitcoin. People argue both ways about Bitcoin, but the point I'm making here is Bitcoin doesn't have utility. Whereas a cryptocurrency like Ripple's XRP does have utility. You need to learn about the utility of cryptocurrency. And if something has no utility, you probably would be best to avoid it, unless you just like gambling. Okay? Go out and get yourself, go online, order yourself a Ledger or a Tracer cryptocurrency, a wallet, so that you can buy something and take it offline. You don't want to, these are things you need to learn about. You don't leave all your savings online in some online wallet. You want to move it off and put it into your own wallet and protect it that way. But you need to find something that has utility. There's things, as I said, in the short run, right now, if you put money into Bitcoin because you're planning on use spending it in the next year, you're probably good. And Bitcoin people think is really gonna go on a tear and do well. But they also think many other things are going to go on a tear. Now, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency is very volatile in many respects because, one person can get, one or two people can get in there, or entities can like go after a particular cryptocurrency, and it can like shoot up extremely quickly if you have a limit to sell, and it pops up to, let's say you bought it for $2 and it goes up to 5, and you have a sale order on at the limit of $5, then it'll sell and you'll make a whole lot of money. You might not be wanting to play that game. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying, maybe you just want to stick it there. So if so, you have to be prepared that you're going to watch it go up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, and not be worried about it. But the thing you need to be aware of is that cryptocurrencies with utilities, and these utilities are they are the ledgers. They're what payments are made through electronically. They are take care of the making of contracts, online contracts. They're related to that. So people have to have a way to share contracts, money, or funds, etc. And that's what these utility-oriented cryptocurrencies are about. Something like XRP. There are other things that I have some Oxycoin. It's a lot cheaper than XRP. Some people are into Hedera, which is HBAR. If you go into looking into the HBAR, these are sort of like looking at the XRP, HBAR, BTC is Bitcoin. It's like going into the stock market. They have these abbreviations. But so different people, there's multiple things out there that have utility. No, there's not zillions of things. There are a lot of these altcoins that they're just coins. They're just something to buy. They're like going to your coin shop and buying a plastic coin because it's got something on it, or going online maybe, or a aluminum coin that has something on it, etc. Okay, you understand that they're not silver, they're not gold, they're just some other kind, nickel, whatever. But and you can buy that because they're collectibles. That's the key to it. So I'm not urging you to go put your money into collectibles. I'm urging you to learn about cryptocurrencies that have utility. Below here in the description box, I've given you a particular. This is what sort of set me off. A particular video to look at. There's many. I listen to Economic Ninja talking about things. He's been into cryptocurrency stuff for a decade or so he's knowledgeable. But this guy, this Nick, he's this he seems to know plenty. As I compare different people doing their videos, he doesn't seem to be trying to sell me a pile of anything, or he just seems to be giving us some good information to consider. Of course, these guys are putting out videos all the time, so you may have to sort of search around in their videos to see which one is that actually gives you some information that you want to see. But this right here, I wanted to share it because I think he talks about cryptocurrencies in a way that you need to understand what they're about. Because if you thought they were just little electronic gambling pieces, tokens, then there's something more to them than that, if you know what you're doing. So don't find yourself going over the waterfall in an inner tube, okay? Make sure you got a good sturdy boat to go over the waterfall in. Make sure you're in a good barrel, right? People used to go over the waterfall in a barrel in some of these stunts, so that you don't get killed or maimed or hurt in any other way. Anyway, Hopefully this will help you out in some way. Have a good day.